Headphones. Hey guys, welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. It's been kind of a chaotic week since I last saw you. Let me get set up here. I tried to do that before I came on, but that just hasn't happened. Anyway, and as the beeping goes, so go I go live. Anyway, got a few things I wanted to talk about. Hang on a minute. Try and get all this done and taken care of. Anyway, one of them is the book. A couple of things that I remembered. Another one is reminders and a few other things. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I'm sorry, I'm really out of it. I've had about an hour and a half sleep. Welcome to whoever has come on. I appreciate you in here. I'm trying to get everything set up. Hey, Christopher, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I'll turn my phone down. Try to get, that'll show that there's 2 in chat, but there's only 1. Anyway, I'm trying to get, I'm off today. I'm 45 minutes off. It's, I guess, better than not showing up at all. Anyway, live right now. Come join. Okay, so let me get rid of this. There we are. Okay. Now I wanted to read something that I had written. Some things that I've been noticing, and it's just like, these are experiences of a psychic. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Okay. Something that I posted to Facebook. It was a lady who was talking about a near-death experience. Now, I've not had a near-death experience. However, there are situations to where a psychic medium can have very interesting experiences. I had one with when I was under anesthesia for surgery. This is what I'm going to read to you just for a moment. There is a point to this, so this will not be very long. As I was coming out of anesthesia from a surgery a number of years ago, I was given information while my body was medically classified as unconscious. But my higher consciousness was very much awake, having a full-blown conversation with a nurse's spirit guide. FYI, a nurse who was a stranger to me was in the surgery room taking care of my body during my surgery. As I was waking up, I was verbally stating to anybody in the room who would listen, that one of the nurses, and I couldn't clear my mind fast enough to figure out which one it was, as there were 3 at the time in the room, who was newly pregnant, and that there was something really medically wrong with the pregnancy, but I couldn't remember what, because I was still coming out of anesthesia. Just a minute. Hang on a second. I just got request for a link and can't seem to. Sorry, guys. Still business. I apologize. Okay. Back to story. Story. So I was still coming out of anesthesia, and all I could remember at that given moment in time was that I had to get the message out. It was that important, and it was made very clear to me by this person's spirit guide that it was like crucial she get checked immediately because there was something off about the pregnancy. What I still don't remember to this day. I couldn't retain it long enough. Hi. So anyway, let me go on. So I couldn't remember what, and I was told to inform this nurse, whichever one of the three it was, that she should be checked out by a physician immediately. And so that they could be able to take care of whatever the situation was with her. And of course, I was completely blown off and immediately told that it's, quote, "Hey, Donna. Oh, see, I'm on every Wednesdays, honey." I try to do 3:30 Pacific, but I just didn't get there today. I've had a rough 7 days. So I was trying to think of how many days. Anyway, welcome. Welcome. Let's see. Okay, so I was immediately told by the doctor, the nurses, and the anesthesiologist that it's, quote, "totally normal for people to say odd statements as they come out of anesthesia," end quote. But they didn't want to hear it, and they didn't believe me at all when I stated that I'm a psychic medium. All they wanted to know was if I was, and I appreciated that. So anyhow, kind of a big deal because I never did find, of course I couldn't track the person back. There was just, hello, I was in recovery and I was having a kind of a hard time. Anyway, the surgery went well, by the way, but yeah, anyway, they were kind of surprised at how fast I came out of it. Well, yeah, hello, when you process anesthesia and pharmaceutical drugs really freaking fast, it kind of freaks doctors out. So yeah, and anyway, don't need to get into all of this. So anyway, so I had no way of being able to find out if she really did, if any one of the three nurses ever got checked out. But I knew she was pregnant because of her spirit guide talking to me in my higher consciousness while I'm under anesthesia. The conscious mind, even though you're knocked out, you can still be very conscious in a consciousness state. And I was very much in a consciousness state. So, okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Interestingly enough, that naturally that was their medical viewpoint. Interestingly enough, it wasn't until almost a year later that I unexpectedly proved it to one of my own doctors, who, to my shock, during one of my own medical checkups, where their own deceased family member was standing near me, then near the doctor, their family member. and had made some statements to inform the doctor through me. It left both of us rather awestruck, especially since this was our first meeting, folks. And since this was our first meeting, where I didn't know ahead of time who this doctor was, nor even know his name, nor know the fact that the clinic had switched doctors out on me. I was never told that, which I wasn't happy with. But I happen to really like this doctor, so I'm like, I'm cool with it. So it worked out. I liked my other doctor too. So it was obvious that there was zero way for me to learn anything about the person ahead of time. My point is this: things happen, and messages from the other side, for whatever reason, have to be put through to physical living individuals, whether or not they believe about the other side. And many times that can make for awkwardness and uncomfortable feelings and situations. Folks, do what you can. I mean, okay, I got to get rid. I've got a thing on here and I can't see the chat. There we go. Yeah, deer in headlights look when you disclose your gift. I get that too. Oh yeah, that's so fun. I try not to do that. I was asked on and one of the reasons why I'm talking about this, well, there's a couple of reasons why I'm talking about this, but one of them is that I was asked, oh, for pity's sake, get off my screen. Thank you. I was on a radio, it was a podcast that was also terrestrial live radio waves, airwaves. And I was asked by a doctor who was in chat, a woman who claimed she was a medical physician, if I had informed my doctors of, well, we were talking ETs back then. And some of my doctors know, not very many, but some of them do, yes. They mostly know I'm a psychic medium. I've really made that very clear. And I let them know flat out, I don't give a shit if they believe me or not. I'm not some one-trick pony type of person. And those that have known me for a long time, they know that. We've had a relationship for a very long time. Hey, Robert. And so they understand. For me to come out of the psychic medium closet, so to speak, has been rather a big deal. So my point is that if you are opening up to your gifts and your abilities, whatever you want to classify that as, a psychic medium, whether abilities, capabilities, whatever, intuitiveness, whatever you want to call it, just be aware. If you're newbie is what I'm saying. If you're a newbie and you've always had experiences, but you've never truly expressed certain things because you've been in fear mode, there are those of us who totally understand. Well, everybody understands. At some point in their life, they understand. But my point is that there are many of us that you can talk to. We don't charge. We don't, there are ways to find learning, different things that you can learn. There are many different groups out there. Oh my gosh, many different groups out there. There are many different people who, and we don't use this as as your counselors. Don't use us as your counselors. We are not here for that. That's for professional help, folks. But a lot of us know where you can look for getting information as to uh, who quality individuals are. Donna is a quality individual. Robert is a quality individual. Christopher is a quality person. Yeah, Donna just said, I think I get that the most is people asking basic questions for themselves. Yes. Um, and I agree with that because I received that too. And they're on their own search, they're on their own path. And it's important. It's important to open that up. It's important. It ends up um, going into a form of higher consciousness. And that's rather an important thing to do. Um, it also opens up a bunch of um, sorry, I just got an unusual message. It also opens up a lot of other steps for the individual. Um, Most welcome, Donna. Um, so just think, think about where you want to go. How do you want to open? Are you still in the search? What level are you at? Um, it goes also into thinking about your chakras. I mean, this delves into a plethora of different um a plethora of different aspects. Okay, hang on a second. I'm getting like 10 million messages. Um Hang on a second. Okay. When I get done, um okay, there we go. Phew. Okay, hopefully that'll help take care of some situations. Anyway, um yes, Donna says that's the point of my group, a safe place to learn and grow. Exactly. And the interesting thing is that there are many safe groups, but there's not a lot of them. And that's the conundrum. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really glad, Donna, that you've got your group. Um it's really important. Um you talk about a lot of different wonderful aspects, just a plethora of knowledge, and I, for one, appreciate that immensely. Um, there was something else I was gonna. Oh no, brain fart, right mid sentence too. Oh, isn't that fun? Um. Anyway. Um. Okay, so I can deal with that later. Um. Here's a something I posted publicly. Don't wait for things to get better. Life will always be complicated, and this is my version of it. In one way or another, life will always be complicated. Learn to be happy right now, otherwise you'll run out of time. In other words, find your happiness. Find what makes you happy. Find what helps you to learn and grow and move forward in life. Anger Anger and rage comes from fear. when you boil it right down to the very nitty-gritty, all of that comes down to fear. Fear does a lot on the human brain. Hello, that was strange. My phone just did something weird. Okay, now maybe I can actually put it out of my hands. Don't like holding onto that thing while I'm... I have a tendency to go places unexpectedly. And I don't mean to. And I can't remember what that's called. I was going to talk about telekinesis. Funny thing. Hey, Amy. Funny thing, I was heading into my bedroom to grab something while I was out here, and the thought crossed my mind, man, if I had... There was 2 individuals that I knew who were telekinetic, and as I was walking before I started the live, as I was walking into my bedroom, I was thinking, man, I would have loved to have been telekinetic and grab for this item, have it just fly into my hands from my bedroom so I wouldn't have to walk all the way through my room. And funny enough, in my lifetime, I've known 2 individuals who were telekinetic. I mean, they could just, or if they were angry. Now, this is going to be a story about the book. I keep calling it the book. I'm trying not to use the terminology US. GOV book for very obvious reasons. Anyway, one of the individuals that I knew, I call her the psychic bitch from hell. And she was a psychic bitch from hell. She was into all sorts of things. Yeah. Isn't that Accio? I think that's how that's pronounced. Donna just said, I'm always doing a Harry Potter with Harry Potter saying Accio. Well, wait a minute. Is Accio the light? No, wait a minute. Lumos? Lumos is the... It's been too long since I've seen the silly movies. Anyway, but yeah, it's just and the psychic bitch from hell, which leads into the book. There were stories of her being telekinetic, very dangerously telekinetic. And the other thing that I wanted to comment on today was the fact other people had witnessed her do things, and it frightened the holy living crap out of family members of mine. Let alone she threatened them beyond description. But anyway, yeah, and the other one was telekinetic with electricity. But definitely was telekinetic. Boy, that goes back a ways. That goes back quite a ways. Crap. I just lost what the hell I was going to say. And it was about the telekinesis. Oh, that was it. That's why I'm forgetting it. Part of me is like not really wanting to talk about this, and another part of me needs to. As some of you know, and others don't, there are psychics in the corporate world. And the corporate world, and I didn't know this until my late teens, 17, 18, 19, something like that. I didn't know that this was a thing. And so when it was brought up on a TV show in the 1990s, I remember getting up from the couch, standing up and screaming, "Yes! Somebody's actually talking about this." Well, even though it's on a TV show, I mean, it was talked about, but it was done in, TV series land. I mean, but it was a big deal to me because of what I had witnessed. And some psychics do not have ethics. And the psychic bitch from hell did not have ethics. And her employers, and interestingly enough, I've recently been thinking of them as, no, I better not, I cannot say that publicly. That is such a, oh my God. Anyway, there's a 2-word phrase that dates back way back, goes back to Africa. And it's horrifying, but to me, it's the right phrase for this specific individual. And it's really detrimental, but it fits, kind of like fits the crime, so to speak. Anyway, what I'm trying to get across very inarticulately and working around the damn subject, my apologies. So there are some psychics that do not have scruples. No integrity whatsoever. Be careful of them. And this one was into corporate espionage with her bosses, who I keep wanting to call owners. Anyway, the shoe fits the, yeah, it yes, Robert, it definitely fits. And she was into some extremely, I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know that this was what this situation was. I knew she was a psychic medium. I knew that she was incredibly powerful. I knew that the employees were terrified of her. This is the late 80s I'm talking about. So long really before certain employer-employee type of situations arose, even in the 90s. But anyway, so corporate espionage can happen with very unscrupulous psychics. And trying to word this very, very carefully. So if I'm looking all over the place and you're a psychologist and you're dealing with the eyes, I'm trying to figure out how to word this carefully, because this is such a touchy subject for a lot of people. And the information that I know and that I have witnessed firsthand I'm 54 years old. This month is my birthday month. Be 55 soon. So when I was somewhere between 17 and 19, there were certain things that I witnessed, and I didn't quite grasp that it was corporate espionage until um, much later. I mean, I got that it wasn't okay. I knew I was a smart cookie at 17 to 19. I was a smart cookie, but there were things that just went right over my head for a number of subjects. That was one of them, but at the same time, I knew it wasn't okay. Um, and this individual was dangerous. She was one dangerous MFer. And my point being with this is to get it out there. This is part of my process in talking about that MFing book. And so that, because I do know, although I don't feel like they're watching it this second, but I do know that they will see this, that the government will see this. They've been after the information that I've got in my head about this book. Well, I wouldn't be so damn worried about that book as I would be her. You want to go after somebody? I don't remember her name. I honestly, I've blocked her name, her first name and her last name out of my head, and I've blocked part of her face out of my head for a very specific reason. Will I talk about her? Oh, you better effing believe I will talk about her because of what she did. Now, what I'm going to say is that I got to count this off. Hang on a second. Oh, crap. Hang on a second. My brain, I'm trying to go back a year before, and I can't do that. Okay, so it was 2019 that the asshats tried shit with me. Love to you too, Donna. Take good care. Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a good group. So it was 2019 that the asshats tried to start stuff. So so 4.5 going into 5 years now. Somewhere in that time range was when I made the real realization that this person had done. I mean, it was a hell of a realization when I made it. It kind of hit me hard because it happened all at the same time. I was having full blown ET experiences. I was starting to remember again. I was coming out of the psychic closet, psychic medium closet. I was dealing with a gigantic plethora of issues all at the same time. Not easy to do. And so when I talk about, oh, I'm glad you love this topic, Christopher. Thank you. So when I talk about the fact that these things, I mean, these are facts of my life. This is what I have experienced. This is what I have witnessed. Many pieces of this were documented. Many pieces were not. Those that were not, obviously, I can't claim as facts, but they were experiences of, excuse me, experiences of my life. And yeah, I wouldn't be. There's not many people I wish bad things, but her soul, because of the kind of magic that she was involved in, and it was extremely dark. I didn't find out that it was magic, black magic. I mean, like, really deep, really necromancy type of stuff. Like, really dark. I didn't know that until 2018. I was sitting in a Denny's at the time with a group of individuals. We had ended a major conversation, and this couple were sitting across, kind of like diagonal, but across, but diagonal from me. They were involved in a team, and I realized what kind of paranormal they were dealing with and doing and fighting and all of that. And I asked a couple of questions, and I was flabbergasted. I walked out of that meeting horrifically stunned by what I had learned. I mean, it took me some time. No tears. It took me some time to fully process. And I'm usually a pretty fast processor. I mean, of information, I'm usually a pretty fast processor of stuff. Excuse me, I gotta get my that hit an empty stomach. Wow. My point being, don't let anything stop you. My other point being, if you have questions in your life, ask people. Ask questions. And if you're getting like patted on the back type of attitude shit, ask other people. Seek out and find people that can help you with information. Do your research. Be your own advocate. This really did a number. Sorry, didn't expect to cry. Didn't expect to hit emotion. So when I went up against this psychic bitch from hell, when I was in my late teens, I didn't know what I was walking. I mean, I sort of had an idea, but not really. And she went in to test me with not basic stuff. She went in to test me with full force. And I blew right through all of her games and her piddly ass, shit ass, toy crap that she tried with me. Tried to entrap me in different things, and it didn't bloody frickin' work. So if you have questions, talk to people. Ask. Learn about your abilities. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't stop yourself. That's one of the things that I did to myself that I didn't know that a person could do. That you don't stop your full abilities, but you will put you can actually minimize. God, yeah, freaking tears everywhere. You can actually minimize your own abilities by demanding, by having, and only a really strong individual can do that. Especially when you don't know what the hell you're doing. I did it for a long time. because I thought it was in the best interest. No, it bloody frickin' was not. One of my biggest mistakes in my entire life is shutting down, as I think of it, although I never really did shut it down, but um, minimizing my own abilities for the benefit of others. Oh my freaking, don't do that. I am here to tell you, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to other people around you. You stagnate. There's a stimulus, not the word I'm looking for. You injure yourself by doing that. You do your own self harm. It's a form of self harm. I didn't know that back then. And it was an instantaneous thing that I did. Took me a long time to realize what it was that I had done. And when in 2018, well, I started thinking about it in 2017, and I started talking to friends and saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And I started coming out bit by bit by the end of 2017. And by 2018, by January of 2018, I was out. And by middle of 2018, I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not hiding myself anymore. It is doing me harm to hide myself, to minimize what I can do. It is a form of self-harm. Don't do that. I'd never thought of it as self-harm before, but it is. It's a form of self-harm. If you have abilities, real, honest to goodness abilities, find a way to work with them. Every person is different. This is light. Let's just go. There we go. Find a way to deal with them. Figure out what works best for you, how you learn. You have to figure out how you learn. That's the key to everything. And I know our Keith Andrews is on right now, and I do apologize, Keith, because today has not been. Wednesdays are supposed to be my days, so where I do stuff, and I try not to do things before. I try not to do things after 4:30, and it's now almost 5 o'clock straight up. So anyway, and he'll be on for another hour and a half. I won't be on for that long, anywhere near that long. But take notice of things. Take care of yourself. That is a form of taking care of you. If you have psychic abilities, if you have mediumship abilities, if you have telekinesis, telepathic abilities, if you have oh my God, I just lost all of them. I keep trying to say parapsychology. That's not what I'm anyway, if you have abilities of any kind, whether it's bending spoons, whether it's playing with electricity, Robert said Freddie Mercury, don't stop me now. And Amy says at least another 4.5 hours to go. No, I'm not going to be on that long, honey. I've only had about an hour to 2 hours of sleep. I'm not going to do that to my body. And on top of it, I've got a show tonight with the S4 bunker. So I've got to get a nap in. So I'm not doing that. Or is that what you meant? I don't know. My brain's not. I apologize. I'm just not 100% with it. Somebody else just popped in. Anyway, hi. Welcome. There's 4 of you in chat. Anyway, figure out the way you learn. Go with how you learn. If you are not if you're trying to learn from somebody and it's not working because things just are not jive, find a different way. Find a different way that works for you, that you can learn the information. That's key to everything. So anyway, go back and listen to what I talked about regarding the asshats, government asshats, and the psychic bitch from hell. And that will eventually lead into the information about the book. I'm going to be parting some of this out, and then I'm going to be about the book. And then I'm going, which is what I've been doing. Good grief. Yeah. All right. Which is what I've been doing, parting some of this information out. But I do have it written up. There's only 2 individuals who know what I've written up, although it's changed since they've read it. And I trust them implicitly about language and my concerns about safety and security and things like that. So get in and listen to what I'm talking about. When I talk about this book, it is going to lead up to something. And it's also why the asshats want the information. Now, I will say something here. Last week, or over the weekend, I don't remember which. It must have been Friday. No, Friday was, yeah, it was Friday. Friday, yeah, it was this past Friday. Our Keith Andrews, I asked him point blank in his own chat when he was doing a live broadcast on his own channel, because he was having a rough day or maybe it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday night. Anyway, he's on almost every day now, right now. He never used to be, but he is right now. And so I had asked him last week if he was feeling up to it and if he felt that it was okay for him to do so. If he would give his opinion on the book and my experience. It wasn't his opinion. Basically, what I was asking was his psychic medium abilities on it, and asked if it was okay if he would do it publicly. And he read it off and he stated his opinion and he supported me. And he said that he knew that the book was real. There were other things he said. I highly recommend you go take a look. I'll see if I can find the clip of it, or give the numbers, the time in his live where it's at. But in 8 hours time, I'm going to tell you something. In 8 hours time, yeah, it was Friday. In 8 hours time, I had our Keith Andrews confirm the book. This is a man who's gone against, who had our government go after him individually. And he knew exactly what they were going to do. He doesn't talk about it very often, but he has talked about it publicly. You'd have to go back into 2018, SOR 2018, 2019, somewhere in that time frame. And he's talked about it. He's talked about what they tried to do. And he caught him at it. He gets it. He understands. And I appreciate that about him. It's a big frickin' deal. But I'm here to tell you, in 8 hours, so from the time he had validated my information about the book, there was a retired spook in the chat, in SOR chat that night. When Dave asked him my question, publicly asked him my question that I had written in the chat, and he said, "Oh yeah, there's a book." 2 people in 8 hours validating that. And then last year, I'm trying to remember how far back, I think it was July, about went hog wild because Lynn, I keep wanting to call her Wallington, Lynn Hurley asked Tom Whitmore, sorry, couldn't think of his name, of MUFON about it, and he did an entire talk on it. He did they were talking about fake books, and that there is also a legendary red book in the government. This book ain't red, but yeah, and that gives all the information on ufology that the government has. 3 separate individuals now who have validated this effing book. So this is a really big deal, folks. And my mistake was asking a retired person who's never retired about the book. If it was a really real book, intuitively, instinctively, psychically, mediumship-wise, I knew it was a real book, but I was looking for validation. And unfortunately, because I was so overwhelmed because of where I was and the amount of people and the different things that were taking place that weekend, I didn't listen to my gut instinct. And because of that, 4 to 5 days later, I had government asshats trying to access me. Well, they did access me, but they didn't access what they wanted. And to me, that's a psychic attack. Now, not just to me, I think to any psychic that ever came across this kind of behavior would know immediately that they were under attack. It's a form of mind rape. It's a form of psychic mind rape. The shit that the government does regarding this specific group of individuals, whether they are, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, whether they are active military, retired military, in a PSYOPs program, or whether they are retired and in a corporate scenario that is not through the government, it's through the corporation, but with government ties. It's still government. It's still psychic attack. It's still psychic rape. I'm not joking about this shit. It happens. And it's not often talked about. So, there are ways to protect yourself. Don't come at me with, how do I... there's so many different forms of it. Like I said, this all starts with how you learn. How is it that you learn? Figure out how you learn. Receive information coming in. Figure out what works for you in your abilities. In other words, have integrity in your abilities. Make sure you have integrity in your abilities. This is a big deal, folks. What I'm talking about is a really big deal. And this is why they've been very serious with me about different things. And the last time, I think publicly, I had stated something along the lines of I would ask the ETs to help me stop their bullshit. Help me stop the asshats bullshit. And funny enough, it stopped for a bit. We go through these cycles. I should say I go through these cycles with them. They have like a time frame. And interestingly enough, they really shut their frickin' everything off when certain things I start talking about. When I start talking about certain aspects of this book, they get more predominant and more active with me. Then there are certain things that I talk about, also regarding the book, regarding the situation, and then they stop cold turkey. And I could go for a few weeks and not have any experience with them. And then, boom, out of the blue. So there's a cycle. Lovely little cycle with them. Anyway, and they've gone down numerous different levels. They're no longer using the same people that they were before. They're using somebody who has either been trained by an ET or who is a hybrid, ET human hybrid, that has very specific abilities, or they're using an ET. And interestingly enough, when I'm trying to figure out how to word this at the same time as it's something I once said, but at the same time it's something that I'm a little leery to say. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to say it. Anyway, and now I've got Joe stuck in my head going, oh, just say it. Joe Monk, anytime I say something like that, when we're on Wednesday night, the panel for Wednesday night for the S4 Bunker show, he's just like, oh, just say it. Come on, just say it. Oh, like, no. There are certain things that, I have learned. I know many people, I know a number of psychics who are like, screw it, I'm going to say it. And they just, whatever. I have a different take on things. There are certain, I listen. The other side is that I listen. I listen to my spirit guides, and I listen to a number of the different, I'm trying to think of how to phrase it, a number of the different guides that I've got, because I've got more than just human guides. I've got also ET spirit guides as well. And I do pay attention. I do listen to all of them because there is a big difference. There's a timing. A lot of times, hey Raven, a lot of times what will happen is there's a timing, and it may not be able to be said right now, but there's a timing, and I can say it later. Will I remember to say it later? Probably not. But at the same time, you never know. A lot of things come around again and again and again. And so, yeah, talking about these asshats and talking about what to say, when to say it. I knew when I was in the shower this afternoon, I knew I was going to say something, and I got told, no, not right now, too dangerous. And I'm like, oh, come on. I mean, I literally, oh, come on, seriously? I want to start talking about this stuff. And they're like, not the right timing. And yeah, do I get frustrated and angry about that? Yeah. But what's the point? It's not going to do me any good. If I talk about something where the timing is not right, not good things can happen. Or the information falls on deaf ears. Well, timing can be everything sometimes. So, I pay attention. And some people get rather rather frustrated with me over that. Okay, now it's time for my tea. Done with the propel. Excuse me. So, sorry guys. Hang on. Now that I'm done hacking up a lung, good grief. Sorry. Anyway, my point with this whole thing, find the right timing, do what you need to, take care of yourself. You have psychic abilities. That's another aspect of you taking care of you. Make sure you take care of you in ways. FYI, this has just popped back up in my head. If you have abilities, your brain works differently than other people. Remember that. That's kind of a big deal. Other thing to think about is that you go back into the 90s and early mid 2000s and start doing research from back then. You will find information on the fact that they talk about that science talks about how when you're using your brain requires protein, higher amounts of protein. If you're a psychic medium and you have those kind of abilities and you're coming into play, that's the wrong way to word it, but you're coming into your abilities, so to speak, more so because you're opening yourself up more and you're becoming more alert, you're becoming more conscious about things. Think about this. Food is a major factor for your brain and for how your brain functions. Are you requiring more protein? Are you requiring more things to keep your brain active and going when you're having experience? There we go. When you're active and you're experiencing psychic abilities or abilities of any kind, mediumship or otherwise, Are you experiencing those situations to where you need more nutrition? Think about that. That kind of stuff is important. Do you need the other thing that I made the realization, not only does my brain need more protein in those situations, but I also need more electrolytes. Okay. Now, today was a very rough day, which is why I look the way I look today. But here's the thing, I'm dealing with it. I've got my electrolytes. I've got my tea that has black tea and green tea in it. I've got my vitamins that I need. Now, granted, I haven't gotten them down because I just, if I do that now, I'm in trouble, especially live. But my electrolytes, that is a huge issue for me. You have to figure out what works in your body for you. And granted, my back has been really bad the last few days. Well, not just the last few days, last 2 years, but all over again. But because I broke my tailbone, that's beside the point. And I'm in a whole new section of working and healing with my body. So remember, focus on what your body needs. Focus on what your mind needs. Figure out how you learn. All comes back to last week's. Figure out how you learn. It's important. It really, really is. Figure out how nutrition plays a part as well. Nutrition with psychic energy stuff can play a major part. If you're eating a lot of crap, a lot of high sugar, high processed foods, that can really affect how your body functions. The cleaner your body can be, the better your brain has to deal with the energy levels and the different things it takes to deal with your abilities. This is just coming from somebody who has learned the hard way. And I know that my abilities, they run rampant a lot. I get that. I also get that a huge percentage of the time I have them very well under control. And there are many times where I don't. And then there are many times where I have spirits going, why can't you hear me? And I'm like, I can hear you. I'm avoiding you right now. Because I have to take care of me. In order for me to take care of anybody else, I have to take care of me. So take care, my point being, take care of yourself in whatever way that is. If that means getting away from sound, one of the things that I think about when our Keith Andrews talks about, he talks about kind of hermiting himself away. And a lot of people did that because of the pandemic and that kind of thing. We all had to, for very good reasons. But when you have abilities and you're going 10,000 miles an hour, just run, blowing through this, blowing through that, your type A personality or a triple A personality, you've got to, my feet are popping. You've got to take care of your body so that your brain can function at those high speeds. Not a joke. So just be aware that it's really important. They really do take effect on a body. And Raven is saying, yes, my water consumption has gone up. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and my Propel, my electrolyte, and my water consumption has gone up, and so has my green tea consumption. Which I'm not a huge green tea fan. I have to do extracts because it is like, wow, okay. But yeah, it makes a really big difference on our bodies. So be sure to take care of yourself. I made a comment publicly in SOR chat last night about making myself a margarita. And I thought, God, that sounds so good. And I go to get up and I'm like, no, because I don't want to have to deal with the beans. I don't drink very often. It's very, very rare. And I have a very high tolerance, which sucks. but, um, but it's like, for me, it's a way to wind down. But at the same time, it's also an easy avenue for other beings, other entities to try to niggle their way in, kind of go, hello, we're going to worm our way in. And I'm like, you do not ever want to do that with me. I've actually had a true demon try to kill me before. And that's not a joke. That's, to me, that is fact. To me, that it happened. And it wasn't because I was drinking, but it's that kind of thing that I think about. How bad do I want to taste the alcohol? How bad do I want to relax? How bad, what's it going to cost me? In other words, it's not worth it. There's certain beers I like the taste of. Like I said, I rarely drink, but there are certain things that I love during like October that are only sold in October. And they're so hard to come by anymore nowadays. But, so one beer is not going to relax me by any stretch. But there are flavors that you enjoy, you know. If they didn't have the alcohol, I'd probably have a lot of it. Because I love the flavors. But think about what you're putting into your body. Make sure it's not high refined sugar, high refined wheat, um, highly processed is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I've been an hour and 13 minutes in here right now. I wasn't going to be on this long. I figured an hour was going to be good. Take really good care of yourself. I've got a show tonight. I put it in the description box below. Please like, subscribe, and share. I do appreciate it. Leave me a message in the comment section. Supposedly it helps with the algorithms, even if it's a high. Anyway, take really good care of yourself and find ways to protect your energy and protect your mentality, especially with unscrupulous psychics who do not have integrity whatsoever. And the people that I know, they all have integrity, and I share them out, share their information out as much as I possibly can when I can. So it's a big deal to me, because if you find somebody who is quality, like Raven, of Raven's Flock, and Robert, and Christopher, and Donna. There's a number of folks that I know that are really good. They're really good at what they do. Everybody's got different abilities, different talents, and they're great people. And we got our Keith Andrews as well. You're welcome. Love you guys to pieces. Love you, Raven. Awesome person. Anyway, yeah, I'm babbling now, so it's time to go so I can take care of me. You're welcome, Christopher. Love you too. I am going to write more information up regarding the book, and I'll get out there, and it'll at least be a 2-hour. It's a good 45-minute read, but I'm sure there will be about the book. It's a good 45-minute read. It's a story. It's a story of what happened when somewhere in my life, and my mom's life, between when I was somewhere between 17 and 19 years old. And so you guys will have it. It is coming. And you'll read more about this woman that I call the psychic bitch from hell. And you'll read about her employers, and you'll read about the book and just what the book entailed. I'm not going to divulge everything. I'm not divulging hardly anything regarding just, I'm not going to give you the shape and the dimensions and the color and the logo and the this and the that and the paper and the font size. I'm not giving you that. But I do have that information. And it is in my notes. And other people have the information, so that I am safe, and so that the information is safe. Actually, now that I think about it, a number of people have it. So, and that information cannot be tracked. They think it can be, but it can't. So, anyway, you will have all the info. It is coming. I keep leading up to it. Oh, another quality psychic, our Keith Andrews. Go give a listen to his channel. He's on for another hour. I'm off here, folks. Listen to the replay if you can. There's a lot of interesting information on it. Take very good care of yourself. I've got to go do that. I got to get a nap in, and then I'm going to be on a show tonight. The S4 Bunker on Spreaker.com, and you can be in the chat on Discord. All the information's in the description box below. Anyway, take good care. Hope you enjoyed. I will hopefully be on next Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific. Trying to do every Wednesdays. Anyway, bye guys. Not hitting the wrong button this time. Might have something to do. Anyway, take care. Bye.